Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our album commentary. My name is Mashana. This is Ricky, and this right here, this lovely young man here, is Oliver. And we are Break Fate. Thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, this is how we're gonna do this now. I'm gonna be like a talk show host. So basically, over the next number of videos, along with this one, we're basically gonna dive into the minutia of our album and break it down and try and figure out what's going on. Why did we write the things we wrote? Why is Oliver a prick? All those questions will be answered.
That one might not be answered today.
That's a mystery. That's like one of life's greatest mysteries. NASA is looking into it right now. There's a whole department of scientists.
It's one of nature's mysteries. We'll never know.
I figured it out the first day I met you, but okay.
Brilliant. Okay, so today, boys, we're gonna be talking about the first song on the album and also the title track. So, Ferocity. Who wrote the song? What inspired the lyrics? Okay, well, that's for me. So this was like the first song, one of the first songs I ever wrote, ever. This was like before Break Fate was a thing or was even an idea. Like, this was in 2017, and I remember I just started this job in the north of London, and I was on like one of my daily commutes, like early in the morning. This is like September time-ish. So this is like when you wake up early, it's still dark out. And I remember sitting on the train, and just the line that came to me was, "I will face life with ferocity." And I noted it down, and I have the book, like the little booklet where I wrote it down. And I remember all I wrote was, "I will face life with ferocity. Okay, I will become all that I can be. I will attempt to get rid of my uglier self, etc., etc., etc." And that is the 27th. After I wrote that, I was like, damn, this is some good shit. And I think the reason why this song came out was because of just I wasn't, even though I just graduated and I had a job, I still wasn't sure where I was gonna go in life. You know what I mean? It just felt like, you know how people say the world is your oyster? It felt like a pretty big fucking oyster. I was like, this is huge. And I guess the song was basically trying to tell me, like, it's a big oyster, but, dive right in, just rise to the occasion, rise to the challenge. So yeah, that's what inspired the lyrics to Ferocity.
Cool.
Cool. Okay, great. What does the song mean to you guys individually?
I think it kind of became a way of life after we first started rehearsing it and playing it, because it was like, when you like listen to like shit music all the time and you start feeling shitty. That was a song that I'd listen to, or like I'd read or I'd think of when I was feeling shit and I'd want to like get better. So it's something that I would like read over and over again. So it's kind of like a boost for me. I don't know. It kind of became something to live by, like a little Bible.
It literally became it became like a mantra for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it came like a mantra.
For me, it kind of didn't really mean a lot.
He hated it.
Not gonna lie.
That was trash.
I actually hated it.
He was like, mathematically, this song doesn't work.
And it didn't. Like, the original... Right, there was two versions to
Oh,
this
yeah,
song,
you
right?
should probably explain, yeah.
The original version of this song, for me, like, it was fine. But for me, it just... Right, mathematically, it didn't work. Like, the drums were just non-existent. until
His biggest issue.
yeah. Well, as a drummer, yeah, you can imagine that would be a pretty big issue. You'd be like, right, whenever you want to come in, I'll be like, I can't.
I don't know how.
So
You'd have like a 3 count, a 5 count, a 7 count, a 6 count. I'd be like, bro, what am I meant to do with this? And then obviously we took it to the studio, and then Taka, our wonderful producer, he started ironing out the cracks, and then it became more mathematically correct. Started adding some other parts from the album, and it became like a really great intro. But for me, before, the song didn't really mean anything. It was more just like whenever we play it live, it would always be like a precursor to Miraculous. So it was always something that was like, oh, it's like a speed bump in the road to like the real song. But
no,
yeah, we'll get onto that.
We'll play like a little bit of a song right now.
I will face life with ferocity. I will become all that I can be. I will attempt to get rid of my ugliest self in the hopes of securing emotional health. This is easier said than done. I've lost more battles than I have won, but the war was still continuing. Oliver, I do want to dive into what does the song mean for you now that it's got all that.
Now?
Like the lyrics, all of that.
Yeah, so now the song for me is completely changed. It's now, I think it's a great intro for the album, and for me what it represents is never giving up on life. And I think that throughout the album Ferocity, that's a common theme. Like, we'll talk about that later with a few songs. I've got a couple in mind that definitely speak those volumes, but yeah, Ferocity, it's about just keep going, weather the storm, and just don't let life get you down, and if it does, you just got to keep going.
Damn right. Oh no. Oh, pull yourself together.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I wanted to touch on something that you mentioned, Ollie, which was the studio writing process. So you guys have already heard the first version that we recorded.
Yeah.
Now the second version is what obviously you guys hear in the actual album. And that was all.
There was another version, but we're not showing that.
yeah, that was trash. There was so this version that you hear was it was literally the brainchild of Taka, our producer, and he was like, I think we met up in August, recorded Fog and Out Loud, and he was like, we're gonna do Ferocity last, come back in like 4 weeks or something, and you guys go away and think about it or whatever and try and figure out how we're gonna crack it, because we're trying to make sure it was mathematically correct, and it was something that was actually a big grand opener for the album, because that's something that we all wanted it to be, like this big thing. And we didn't actually know what we were gonna do until we got to the studio and Taka started working on it, and he was like, so we had different ideas. So we know we wanted a radio, static radio or something like that. And we wanted it to sound like it was opening a frequency. We wanted to make it sound like it was a message from like somewhere else being transmitted to whoever was listening. And then Taka had this brilliant idea of like, what if within that crackle of the static or whatever, we inserted little Easter eggs, basically little like not motifs. What's that thing that basically alludes to something that's
Like-
coming?
Like little, oh, like a foreshadowing.
A
It was foreshadowing the rest of the album.
Exactly, bro. Perfect, bro. Perfect. And it was so sick because he was like, okay, what if? Because I'm not sure if you guys have, if you listen very carefully, you may have missed it or not. But if you listen very carefully to Ferocity, you will hear bits and pieces from the other songs within. Some of them are very like embedded soul, like underneath like the stuff, but they are there. Like the Ferocity.
You definitely hear most of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like
There are
but-
some you could miss.
Yeah, for sure. But as like a little song, it is dense. Like it's stacked with just other songs within it.
There's a few people that like it as like one of the favourites, and I'm just like,
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, really? But
Really?
sure, I'll
But-
take it.
Do you know what? I think for me, once this new version came in, it was listening to the foreshadowing moments. Like I will
Yeah.
attempt to, and then you hear like for the rope right there, and you know
I
what I mean.
really love that as well.
That
The
is
sort of- there's an overlay. There's an overlay between all the songs,
Yeah.
and like there's sort of like a call and response technique that we've got where it's like we'll play one bit and then it'll go into another,
Yeah.
and it's like I really loved how that came together.
It's
That's
sick.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things about it.
So I think that what we did with that song works really well with what the meaning of the song itself. Like it's packed with like all of these bits and pieces of songs that speak about trials and tribulations and all of that stuff, and it's all packed in this one song about overcoming those trials and tribulations. So I think
And yeah, sort of adding to what you've said there, can't even get my words out. Adding to what you said there, an interesting point would be that it foreshadows the album, which in theory foreshadows the future of what's to come. And it's like Ferocity is like the start. Like if you look at the little animation we made for it, it's like you're in the storm, you see the storm coming and the wave, and like it gets you, and then it's like, oh, what are you gonna do? And the foreshadowing of the album is like, oh well, there's still hope at the end of it, and like you hear that at the more into the album you get, and obviously we'll talk later about the rest of the songs, but yeah, they talk about signals of hope and getting through the hard times.
The one thing I thought was the funniest thing was that we had like a month to think up all these ideas for this song, and I went back, I wrote all these guitar parts, I had them stored all on my phone, I showed Mashana a bunch of them, I was kind of excited to go in and just make something completely new. And when we turned up to the studio, Taka was like, no, put your guitar down, you don't need it. I was like, what do you mean? Oh, we're just going to put all the other songs into this one. And I was just like, huh?
it made no sense.
I was just like,
But
what are
it
you
worked.
talking about?
It worked.
Yeah.
He goes, just trust me. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll just sit in the corner. And we went to the studio and we just sat in the corner all day while Taka was just like,
Literally
being this wizard.
all day. We
I was
recorded
like, why did I come?
in his bedroom. We literally recorded in his bedroom, and I think we're gonna show some pictures. We've taken some pictures in his recording bedroom. It's such a small space.
Recording bedroom.
His bedroom recording studio. It's not like something from Burbank, California, or whatever. And there's like a little so his bed, he flips it and it becomes like a little sofa, and we were literally stationed there for the whole day as he worked on this song. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's Ferocity. Watch our next video where we will be discussing Fire.